All right, so get ready, because today we're going deep on some seriously complex lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
We're diving into Entameta by Canibus.
Wow.
Cannabis for his crazy wordplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to go deeper than just the surface.
Sounds good.
What's he actually trying to say in this track?
That's a great question.
Like, right off the bat, he drops us into this world where he's talking about VR molecules and Zoom calls,
Interesting.
and then throws in Metatron's cube.
Bro!
It's like he's mashing up ancient symbolism with futuristic technology.
It's a striking contrast, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It almost makes you wonder, like, is this progress, or are we losing something important in this digital age?
I like that.
Is technology the key to, like, spiritual understanding, or is it taking us further away from it?
Right, and then it gets even trippier when he starts talking about using an Oculus headset.
Oh, yeah.
Not just any VR, It's Oculus.
Right.
They're known for those super immersive experiences, the
Cool.
ones that almost, like, isolate you.
Yeah, yeah. So is he saying that we're choosing to enter these isolating spaces, or is it more about using tech to explore different realms, like even spiritual ones?
It's a fascinating question.
So we've got this tech-heavy backdrop,
Yeah.
but then he throws in some seriously sharp social commentary lines like,
Mm.
you want white folks involved? Just threaten to vaccinate their dogs.
Wow.
Definitely makes you stop and think.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff.
What do you think he's trying to say with that?
It's hard-hitting satire, for sure.
Hmm.
I think he's highlighting how fear and misinformation can be used to manipulate people,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to things people are already worried about.
And then right after that, he just casually drops in, I want mandatory black beans with rice and greens.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like a non sequitur, but it feels so deliberate. You know?
Right. It adds another layer to the social commentary.
Yeah.
On one hand, it could be about food access and cultural identity.
But next to that previous line, it feels like he's contrasting cultural values, showing how differences can be exploited.
It's like he's making us see the power dynamics at play, not just between people, but between entire cultural groups.
Exactly.
And it's not even clear who he's talking to with that mandatory part.
Right.
Is it about one specific group's right to their cultural foods?
Mm.
Or is it a deeper comment on being forced to conform?
It could be both, maybe.
So we've got futuristic tech, social tension bubbling up. But then Entameta throws us into this super vivid, almost apocalyptic world.
Oh, really?
I mean, polar drip, solar pole shift, lifting weights on a stranded container ship.
Wow, that's intense.
That paints a pretty stark picture, don't you think?
It does.
What do you think he's going for with that?
It evokes this feeling of struggle, right?
Yeah.
Like raw survival.
For sure.
And it connects to the themes of mental and emotional resilience he talks about later.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he talks about critical survival, rejecting emotional spirals and not being in denial.
It's like he's saying physical strength is important in a crisis, but mental toughness is crucial too.
Right.
It's about having the strength to face whatever comes your way.
Exactly. And that mental toughness seems tied to this idea of self-reliance too.
Oh, how so?
He talks about writing with pen and paper after 1,000 solar cycles.
Yeah.
That suggests that even in this high-tech, maybe even post-tech world, those basic skills are still super important.
So it's like, don't get so dependent on technology that you forget the essentials.
Right. Cultivate your inner resources. Stay sharp.
And that's a pretty relevant message for us today, even without a polar shift on the horizon.
Absolutely. It speaks to this idea that true resilience comes from a balance of external resources and inner strength.
He's not just surviving, he's shaping his reality.
Exactly.
And then there's this really interesting line about the creator recreated Jamaica, indigenous genetic information, beautiful natives, unusual flavors, looked her up and down and said, I'll take her.
Whoa, what's going on there?
It's like a creation myth dropped into this post-apocalyptic world. This sense of rebuilding, of finding connection amidst chaos.
And the choice of Jamaica specifically feels important.
Right.
It's got such a rich history and culture.
Yeah.
So he could be pointing to the power of heritage and lineage.
Even while imagining a future where things are being rebuilt and redefined.
Exactly.
So it's not just about surviving alone. It's about community, about carrying the past forward, even when the future is uncertain.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack from just a few lines.
That's Canibus for you. So much meaning in every verse.
He really makes you work for it.
He challenges you to dig deeper, to piece the puzzle together.
Speaking of puzzles, what about that line, what two words contain the most letters?
Ah, Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic riddle, right?
Right, it is.
But it feels like there's more to it.
Definitely.
What do you think he's doing there?
Knowing Canibus, it's got to be intentional.
Right.
I think it connects to this theme of communication and information that runs throughout the song.
It's not just about the words themselves, but about what they represent, how they're used to convey meaning.
Exactly. He's playing with language,
Yeah.
but he's also making us think about how language shapes our understanding of the world.
Especially in this age where information and misinformation spread so fast.
Right.
It reminds me of that earlier line about airborne transmission.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's saying, pay attention to what you hear, how it's being spread, because words have power.
And that power can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
It's up to us to be careful, to really think about the information we encounter.
Not just blindly accept whatever's being thrown at us.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty deep.
Yeah.
But that's why we love Canibus, right?
Of course.
He makes you think. He challenges you to look beyond the surface and grapple with the complexities of the world.
He's a master at weaving together all these seemingly separate ideas. Technology, social commentary, survivalism, wordplay. Yeah. Into this rich and thought-provoking tapestry.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
That's true.
Entameta has so much more to explore, from ancient myths to hints about the future of humanity.
It's an incredible song.
And the best part is, Canibus doesn't give us easy answers.
Right.
He presents these ideas, these challenges, and invites us to engage with them, to draw our own conclusions.
It's like he's saying, here are the pieces, now you figure out the puzzle.
Exactly.
That's what makes it so rewarding.
It's a song that keeps on giving, revealing new layers of meaning every time you listen.
It really is.
It's a testament to the power of art to spark conversation, to challenge assumptions, and to make us see the world in new ways.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're doing here on the Deep Dive.
Yes.
Taking these complex ideas, these intricate lyrics, and trying to unpack them, to understand what they mean.
Not just for Canibus, but for us.
For the world we live in.
It's a process of discovery, a journey.
And the beauty is, there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's about engaging with the material, asking questions, and coming to our own conclusions.
Exactly.
And that's what makes this deep dive so exciting. We're all in this together.
I agree.
The listener, too, we're exploring these ideas together, trying to make sense of them, and hopefully understanding the world and our place in it a little better.
It's a reminder that even in a world that can feel so fragmented and chaotic, there's still room for connection, for meaning, for the pursuit of knowledge and understanding.
Absolutely.
And that's a powerful and hopeful message, I think.
You know, it's interesting how Canibus mixes these, kind of contradictory ideas.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, on one hand, he's talking about resilience and self-reliance, this almost stoic mindset. But then he'll throw in lines that show vulnerability, like he's reflecting on things.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, like when he says, mix in jars, cold shandy, lemonade, and beer, contemplate what it would take to recreate your career.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's definitely taking stock of things there, maybe even feeling a little lost. Yeah, definitely. And that whole mixing thing feels symbolic, too.
Right.
Like he's acknowledging that life, and especially a career in music, is about taking different experiences, different influences, and blending them into something new.
Exactly. And it's not just about enduring hardship either.
Right.
It's about using those experiences to grow.
To become more than you were before.
Yeah, and that feeling of urgency comes through even stronger in the lines that follow. Detect an infection, a rise in airborne transmission, and all they had to do was listen.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a warning almost.
For sure.
Like a regret for missed opportunities.
And it's even more chilling when you think about how quickly misinformation spreads these days.
Absolutely.
It's like he's saying, pay attention, be critical, because ignoring the truth can have serious consequences.
Right. But then, right after that heavy warning, he throws in this playful line.
Which one?
That was completely unscripted. Just having some fun with it. A mind-racing event. That leave you tongue-twisted.
He always does that. It's like he's winking at the listener, reminding us that it's all a creation, a work of art.
It's that mix of seriousness and playfulness that makes Canibus so unique.
Totally. He can tackle these heavy themes.
Yeah.
But he doesn't let it get too bogged down. There's still this joy, this experimentation in his wordplay.
Absolutely. And that phrase, a mind-erasing event, is really interesting.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
Is it a real event in this world he's created? Or is it more metaphorical? Like referring to trauma or loss or Maybe even just to the flood of information we face every day.
I think it could be all of those things.
Right.
He leaves it open to interpretation, lets the listener fill in the gaps.
That's what good art does, invites you to participate, to make your own connections.
You know that line about 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 minutes without oxygen, he's a dead man talking? Really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
It's just such a stark reminder of how fragile we are, you know?
Yeah.
Of the basic things we need to survive.
It's a grounding moment, for sure. Brings us back to the essentials.
Yeah,
Makes those themes of survival and resilience even more powerful.
definitely.
Canibus is acknowledging how precarious life is, but at the same time, he's celebrating the strength of the human spirit.
He's not sugarcoating anything.
No,
He's saying life is tough, but we can handle it.
we can overcome.
And that makes the moments of hope in the songs so much more powerful.
Right. Like when he talks about being the only survivor, the captain of this ocean liner.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
It's not just about individual survival anymore.
Right.
It's about leadership, about responsibility for yourself and others.
He's not just drifting along. He's charting a course, navigating through the chaos.
Exactly.
And there's that sense of determination, of agency in that line. iPad navionics, I don't need no autopilot.
I love that line. Even in this high-tech world, he's choosing to rely on his own skills, his own intuition.
That's a powerful statement for sure.
Especially in a world where we're surrounded by automation.
Right. It's like he's saying, I'm not going to let technology run my life. I'm in control.
And that's such an empowering message.
Totally. Oh. Especially now when it feels like we're constantly being bombarded by technology.
It all comes back to that self-reliance we were talking about. He's not anti-technology, but he's using it on his own terms.
As a tool, not a crutch.
Right. Then things take a hard left when he says, "Enter the metaverse is an online course where I dismount my horse and kick your corpse."
Whoa, talk about a shift in gears.
It's like he conquered the physical world and now he's taking on the digital one.
And he's not messing around.
Not at all. That image is intense, dismounting his horse and going straight into battle.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, my skills are adaptable. I can thrive anywhere, real or virtual.
And that's a pretty relevant message for us too.
How so?
Well, we're living more and more of our lives online.
True.
The metaverse is becoming part of our reality, whether we like it or not.
And Canibus is reminding us that those same principles of resilience, adaptability, and self-reliance apply in the digital world too. Right, we can't just be passive consumers in this new world.
We have to be active participants, shaping it to fit our values.
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
If Entameta is like a guide for navigating a difficult future, what's it telling us about how to approach these new technologies, these new frontiers?
I think it's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Embracing the possibilities, but not forgetting your own values.
Right. Don't let technology define you. You define how you use technology.
Exactly. He's not saying reject technology.
He's saying master it.
Use it to your advantage, but don't let it take over.
And don't be afraid to fight for what you believe in, even in the virtual world.
Yeah, Canibus is a warrior both physically and mentally.
Definitely. He's not afraid of conflict. He faces it head on.
And there's something really admirable about that.
Totally. That willingness to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard.
It's inspiring.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in a world that feels overwhelming, we still have the power to make a difference, to shape our own destinies.
We're not just passengers on this ship. We're the captain.
Exactly. That's a powerful message to take away from Entameta.
Resilience, adaptation. The strength of the human spirit.
Man, it's crazy how much Canibus fits into Entameta.
I know, right?
We've got social commentary, future tech, survival themes, even these little glimpses into personal stuff.
He really packs it in.
And it's all woven together so well. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a real testament to his skill with lyrics.
He's not just rapping, he's creating these verbal tapestries.
Totally.
Packed with meaning and symbols and all that.
That's true. And we can't forget about the wordplay.
Oh, right.
The rhyme schemes, the double meanings, the way he bends language.
It's wild.
It's like he's building these sonic puzzles for us to solve.
He definitely keeps you on your toes, makes you think.
For sure. He wants you to engage with the lyrics, not just have them wash over you.
It's not background music. You got to work for it.
Exactly. It's an active process, you know.
Decoding, unraveling the layers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's saying, I'm not going to spell it out for you. You got to figure it out yourself.
And that's what makes it so rewarding.
Right. The more you listen, the more you discover.
Every time you go back to Entameta, you find something new.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion, right?
Yeah. Except this onion is a super smart wrapping masterpiece.
Exactly. And those layers can be pretty intense sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's not afraid to push buttons, make you a little uncomfortable.
Say, makes you face those tough questions, those hard truths.
About ourselves and the world around us.
And he does it in a way that makes you think, but also keeps you entertained.
So, big picture, what do you think Canibus is trying to say with Entameta?
For me, it's about resilience, about being able to adapt, the power of humans to overcome tough stuff.
I can see that.
It's about embracing the future, even when it's scary, and using our smarts and creativity to make it better.
He's not just giving us a doom and gloom scenario, he's giving us tools
Right, a roadmap.
to navigate a world that's always changing.
It reminds you that even with technology going crazy, society in upheaval, even a potential apocalypse,
We still have a choice.
yeah, we have the power to act, to make a difference.
That's a powerful message, and ultimately a hopeful one, too.
Canibus isn't giving us all the answers.
He wants us to think for ourselves.
To face the challenges, find our own way forward.
It's a call to action, a challenge to step up and create the future we want.
Entameta is about finding strength in tough times, being open to change, and remembering the importance of human connection and creativity, too.
He's definitely given us a lot to think about.
Yeah, for sure. I bet we'll be coming back to Entameta for years.
Me too, finding something new every time.
Absolutely. So if you haven't heard Entameta, you gotta check it out.
Really listen to the lyrics.
Decode the wordplay. See what you can find.
You might be surprised what you learn about yourself, about the world.
About the power of art to show us what it means to be human.
That's a good way to put it.
That's all for this deep dive into Entameta.
Thanks for listening.
We'll be back next time with another awesome exploration.
Can't wait.
Until then, keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.